All right, so the whole topic of 120 hertz on iPhones just got some light, but you're not gonna like it. Because yes, it seems that Apple does have promotion for iPhones in its pipeline, but not when we thought it would happen. We have some more leaks of the OnePlus 8T ahead of its launch, because you know how it goes. And Microsoft just gave us an updated version of the Surface Pro X, which is one of my favorites, sort of. I'm Jaime Rivera, and raise your hands who would like for us to theme the Pocketnow Daily in Halloween style. Nobody? See, I told you, nobody. This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news today began as always with deals, and this time with the departing Pixels, which still continue to be really good phones. Let's start it off with the Google Pixel 4 line, which is still on sale on Amazon. The entry-level variant for the 4 is currently $249 off, leaving it at $551 shipped. The 4 XL is $120 off, leaving it at $779 shipped. The Surface Go 2 is also $80 off, leaving the Intel Core M3, 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage variant for $550. B&H is also offering the same discount, and just a heads up, this is the Wi-Fi only variant. Now finally, the regular AirPods are $48 off, leaving them at $151 shipped, with the wireless charging case actually. We've got more deals on JBL headphones, the Samsung Galaxy Watch, and more in the links in the description. You want to hear something funny? I don't think I've ever seen less tech-savvy people go more crazy for an iOS update than iOS 14. If you've been paying attention, you know that widgets and icon packs are becoming a huge thing again thanks to Siri shortcuts. Basically, what you do is create a shortcut for every application you want on the home screen and use a picture for the icon, and it also works on the new widgets. Well, there's a designer called Traff, which has been selling a pretty minimalistic icon pack that has sold a crazy $101,000 in just 6 days. He says that he used to sell skins back in 2013 with jailbroken iPhones, but that he never made any profit out of it. His current pack costs $28 and is actually pretty cool looking. And it's just baffling to see how much people have started caring about this. Now, the main reason why we're covering this is because I'm genuinely curious. We'll have a poll in the community tab asking you, like, have you cared about doing these changes with the icons, or do you use iOS just the way it is? Because that's currently me. I think it's a lot of work to create those Siri shortcuts, but I hope this serves Apple as an indication that people actually do want to theme their iPhones. Now, how about if we talk Pixel 5 and mainly the company's strategy? I don't think I've ever been more excited about a Pixel ever than now, and yet it seems that we are, but Google is not necessarily thinking that way. According to a new report from Nikkei Asia, Google has a very low sales target, as they're apparently only producing 1 million units of the Pixel 5, and that number could actually go down to 800,000, depending on the reception it gets. According to the IDC data, Google sold 7.2 million units in 2019 when they had the goal of selling 8 to 10 million. We also know that the pandemic is still going on, but going from 7.2 million to 1 million units is a drastic change. So far, the Pixel 4a is having some positive reception, as the Pixel 3a was Google's hit last year, and it's apparently performing well in Europe. Because seriously, we hope that Google sells as many Pixels as we get likes and video views every time Pixel's in the title. I do want this smartphone to take off and to become as popular as it needs to be in order for the technology to continue evolving. You know, companies get support, and therefore they're going to just invest more, but we'll see. Now let's talk about Microsoft, as well, the company showed us their new Surface Laptop Go yesterday, which is their way of going against Chromebooks, which is great. But obviously Apple Silicon is the big topic right now, and the fact that Apple is going ARM, and Microsoft went ARM a long time ago. I'm not talking about you, Windows RT, you don't apply, but like, you know, right now they're emulating Windows on Snapdragon processors, and let's just say we got a new hint into what they're doing with the new product. Microsoft just launched a new updated version of the Surface Pro X, as well as a new platinum paint job. It brings the same 13-inch Pixel Sense display with 16 gigs of RAM and up to 512 gigs on a solid-state drive running Windows 10. And I'm actually hoping that that is a removable solid-state drive like on the previous one, because that was awesome. And yes, the display is also really good. According to Microsoft, it brings a slight boost of up to 15 hours of battery life on a single charge, and it brings 2 USB-C ports, a Surface Connect port, and a nano SIM slot. Now, what's interesting about this update is that it brings a new SQ2 chip, which is a customized version of Qualcomm's 2nd generation Snapdragon 8cx chip, which was released this year. But then we wonder why it doesn't have 5G, as that was one of the major reasons that chip was launched. It could just account for the battery boost we mentioned earlier. This new updated variant will start at $1499 for the 16 gigs of RAM and 256 GB of solid-state drive version, and it is currently available for pre-orders and will be in stores on October 13th. Seriously, the only thing that has me curious now is when is Microsoft going to dust off Windows RT and go back to doing Windows on ARM natively and not the current way, which is not necessarily the most ideal. Now let's move on to OnePlus, because obviously the closer we get to the event, the more interesting the leaks are going to get. Yesterday, OnLeaks posted the dimensions of the device, comparing it to the 8 and 8 Pro. Apparently it will be wider than both of these and slightly shorter than the 8 Pro. It'll also be 0.1 millimeters thinner than the 8 Pro, putting it in the middle of both devices. But then moving on to official territory, the company also posted a picture of the red box for this phone and even a picture of it opened. And sadly, they didn't show the phone, only the red wire for the 65-watt charger hanging out of it, pretty much. We're expecting this phone to bring 6.5 inches on the display running at 120 Hz, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, and it'll also apparently pack a 4,500 mAh battery, and it'll be running Android 11, and the launch date is set for the 14th. I'm just seriously wondering what the company is aiming for here, mainly because this would be the first time that the company launches a T variant that is not a T variant. Like, if you remember, the whole purpose of the T is to compete with the S, meaning a better iPhone. So the T was like the better OnePlus phone that we got every year. This doesn't seem to be the case. And finally, the most interesting news today have to do with iPhones and 120 Hz. For the longest time, we've been covering rumors of whether we're gonna get 120 Hz on the iPhone 12 or not. Apparently the supply was ready, but then the drivers were not, and so we still don't know exactly what to expect for the iPhone 12. And yet, today we get information that I'm not exactly sure if we should be happy about, because it's not necessarily about the iPhone 12. Even if we don't have the 12 line just yet, we have some new information on next year's lineup from the DSSC's Ross Young, and it doesn't paint a pretty picture for 2020. According to Young, this information comes from Ming Su Ho Securities, and it gives us details on where Apple's roadmap will be. The list shows 4 new models for next year, and the iPhone SE 3 won't be part of it. Apparently that'll happen until 2022. It seems we'll be getting a similar lineup to what we get this year, with the exception of the SE, meaning a 5.42-inch variant, a 6.06-inch variant with an OLED display provided by Samsung and LG and BOE. Now, the regular 13s will bring Sub-6 5G, dual cameras at the back, and the same modules as the ones we get on the 12, or that we will get. But then moving on to the Pros, the regular one will bring a 6.06-inch display provided by LG or BOE, while the Pro Max will bring a 6.67-inch display provided by Samsung. These will support both millimeter wave and Sub-6 5G, so pretty much what we're getting supposedly this year, while rocking triple cameras at the back and a time-of-flight sensor. Now, all of these apparently will still bring Face ID, and it seems that whenever that SE3 happens in 2022, it'll still bring a fingerprint sensor. This report doesn't mention 120 Hz necessarily, but Young added that ProMotion with variable refresh rate and LTPO will be coming, at least for the Pro models. So, speaking of 2020, iPhone 12, no 120 Hz. If that happens, would you buy this phone or not? Because honestly, in my case, I'm trying to find what else is going to be cool about these iPhones other than 5G, which is still in the process of taking off. I don't know. I feel that the company really needed to own ProMotion. I mean, they pretty much came up with it with the iPads a long time ago, with the iPad Pro. So I feel that the company needs to figure it out, not make us wait until next year. I'm not really excited, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me try to not do weird things that Diego wants. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.